Here goes an Atziri run. Now, I really probably should not be running with the thing on where you can see everything. It makes the screens awfully messy in here because so many mobs drop so much stuff. So I'm going to go ahead and turn that off and just toggle it back on every time a fight's over to see if there's anything good on the floor.
Go with God! What I'm looking for primarily are currency items and, of course, items that can be sold directly for good amounts of currency. And as you'll note here, I really don't attack at all with this build. Primary focus is keeping up your health through the use of a combination of actual life regen potions and fire resist potions, because once you buff your fire resistance with Righteous Fire, your excess life regen that's normally countering the Righteous Fire damage kicks in and acts like a health potion. So you're basically getting double health potions by using them in combos, in pairs, so you have 1 and 3 and then 2 and 4, alternating back and forth. Number 5 there as a lightning resist potion is specifically for the Atziri fight at the end. I could probably be running without it up until the last group of mobs and then toss it in to charge it up for her. But she does quite a bit of lightning damage, and even though I'm sitting at something like 78%, 78 or 79% lightning resist, somewhere in there, it's really helpful to basically cut out half that lightning damage. But you won't really see me use that much on the mobs unless I happen to run into a room with a overload of lightning damage going on. Sometimes that happens, and it can be worth having around. And here we go for the first boss fight. Sometimes I'll also use it in here if it looks like I'm getting hit by more of the lightning attacks from these guys than I like. But here goes nothing, as they say. This fight, I should not die. I suppose I ought to cast a portal here just in case. I shouldn't die in this fight. I've been through it enough. It's mostly just a mechanics fight. If you run in circles, they have a hard time hitting you with their laser attacks. You have plenty of time when you see the physical ball attack, that you can run out of the way of that. And you just kind of sit there and tank just about everything else. The mobs and everything. So there we go. Gonna hit this one a little bit. I try to alternate damage back and forth between them as much as possible.
and get rid of the mobs in between. You want to not quite, if possible, kill them. See, he's almost dead. I'm going to try not to kill him until I get this guy down now at this point, if I can help it. Though, man. Here we go. We need to recharge our potions. Hopefully we can do so on these mobs. Well, now that we killed him, we gotta kill this other one fast. He is gonna be a lot buffer. Which one? Dead. There we go. See that? He sped up his damage a lot. Or his attacks, I should say. Sped up a lot when the other one died. Nothing here really worth bothering with. Check out the leather belt. Leather belt with life on top of it's pretty nice if the other stats are good for this build. Alright, here goes the second wave of mobs. Okay, punctures. I have to watch out for those. I have died to those on these silly mobs far too often. It's one I sometimes have trouble hearing with everything else. It makes a little kind of bubbling sound almost, or slithering sound. And especially with the snakes that also make a slithering sound. It can be tricky to tell when you're punctured just from the audio effect. I will say that's nice about these Atziri runs, they tend to drop a fair amount of maps. I've actually had really good luck today though on even just normal maps and things, getting quite a few back. And I just spent a while trading in some smaller maps to vendors for some bigger ones. So I'm pretty well stocked on maps up through about 73, level 73, and I think I have 174 now. Which are helpful. See there, that's worth. Okay. In case any of you don't happen to know, although I expect you do if you're watching this level of video, 3 links or more, 3 or more links where each of the 3 colors is represented are worth a chromatic orb, and a 6 socket, doesn't matter what the links are, just a 6 socket, is worth 7. I believe it's jeweler's orbs. So it's worth picking those up and selling them back pretty much all the time. They're easily worth more even than a really well spec'd rare item. So pretty much my policy is to pick up those small rare items like jewelry, certain belts, siege axes if I have any spare chaos orbs to try and make a soul taker out of them. Been waiting for one of those for many months. And of course unique items at all are pretty much the main things I focus on picking up. You can see here I have an alternate weapon set that still includes the appropriate shield, the Rise of the Phoenix, for this build. The main difference with it is I just use some off-skill gems in it, things that I want to level up and need to be able to use from time to time, but don't want to have as my main abilities. So in particular, movement skills. I've got both Lightning Warp and Leap Slam over there, as well as Evolve Detonate Dead, which comes in handy sometimes. Here we go, second boss fight coming up. Now the 3 bosses in here are particularly nasty, even individually, but when one of them dies, the other 2 are fully healed and where the one died, a large area is spawned that does damage over time. I'm not sure which type it is. I think it's probably either physical or chaos. I've never really bothered to look, but it also then spawns mobs, which can get pretty nasty if you let too many of them stack together. So this I usually die once or twice on this part, primarily when it gets down to just one guy left. Oh, they also get larger and I believe do more damage as the other ones die. So really quite a nasty fight, all things considered. I generally go for taking out this lady first. She seems to be more of a threat to me than the others when she gets to her later stages. Holy cow. And that was embarrassing. I didn't even get one of them before I died. That's abnormal. I wasn't moving around enough. I was thinking too much. Well, let's try again. She's almost dead though, so just walk through her. Okay, she's out. And now on these guys, there doesn't seem to be a whole lot that matters as to which one of them I take down first. Holy cow. I think I've got a bleed effect on me, it felt like. Just gonna sit here and try to tank it, and he's out. Okay, the nice thing is once they die... Ooh, that was bad. Once they all die, all the mobs also die, and the areas that damage you also despawn. So that's all quite helpful. What the heck? Really not much dropping from these guys though at the moment that's of any substantial value to me. So one death, that's not too bad at this point. The main trick, at least for me at the moment, I can't take Atziri on a single life, so it's really helpful to have multiple portals still available, which is why you won't usually see me port out. I have no experience to try and save to speak of. I always do this after hitting a new level, I find is the safest time. So I have no real experience to worry about, so I don't worry about portaling out. I just like to have the extra lives for dealing with Atziri, because invariably at some point I'm going to run out of potions against her, because not a whole lot of other mobs are spawning. There's one phase where she spawns some other mobs and you can kind of refresh your potions a little bit. But it's a nasty fight, you'll see here in a little bit. And so far on this character, I've taken her out twice out of 3 serious attempts. Gotten to her 3 times, and 2 have defeated her. One of them, I didn't have enough lives left at that point, and I died. Turn it off. So there's a lot of lightning damage going on here, so I'm going to go ahead and use that Topaz Flask for lightning resistance. A little bit in here. Now, one weakness of this particular build is that it really cannot do anything at all against totems. For a while I used to run with an arc gem in one of my alternates that I could switch over to and slowly wear it down, but you're really not spec'd to benefit from something like that. In terms of damage, you know, to have direct... Whoa, okay. That was very bad. When you see something like that where your life just plummets, it's almost always a bleed. On this build, it can also be a combination of enemy curses, or certain ones can do that, but usually not that dramatically. I very nearly died there and probably deserved to. Bleeds, though, again, although I didn't see anything in there that could have caused a bleed, I'm not sure. I will also usually pick up superior gems or gems, especially support gems that I consider particularly valuable for future builds. But I have whole pages in my stash of gems, so I don't usually bother with all of them. Looks like we have to go this way. Yeah, there we go. That's a lot of lightning going on. And a lot of physical damage. Holy cow. I sometimes wish there was more of a way to know exactly what was going on, if there was some cue beyond just the visuals up there in the left-hand corner that show what buffs and debuffs are on you. But I will say that I've got a combo in here. In fact, I use it on almost all my high characters. That's cast on damage taken, Enduring Cry, and then Immortal Call. And that's a real lifesaver, honestly, against physical stuff, anyway. It doesn't help against elemental damage, but it's a big lifesaver against physical damage because it buys you, you're suddenly getting hit by a lot of physical stuff. A little it'll get through until it trips your damage taken gem, and as soon as that happens, you become immune for a couple seconds, as you can see there. So, I mean, the physical damage, not elemental, but physical, which is enough, though, really, to make a massive difference. That's one of the weaknesses of my character at the moment. That high physical damage, were it not for that combo, would be deadly, and is still dangerous, even with that. And chaos damage is the other thing that I'm fairly weak against. I think I'm at minus 3% for that, whereas, I'll just pull it up real fast here. 88, 79, 78, minus 3, but with only 25% physical damage reduction and 18% dodge chance, or evasion chance. So fairly weak combat, or defense, against physical damage and chaos, but really good shape against the elemental stuff, and fairly decent, actually, surprisingly enough, against physical because of that gem combo. And in fact, I'll show you that real fast, because what I specifically do, I believe it's this one, cast when damage taken, increased duration, Enduring Cry, and Immortal Call. So you build up a few Enduring Cries, especially quite a few if there's a lot of enemies around you. So maybe get all 3 Enduring Cries, which should be 3 endurance charges from that. And then this trips, but the increased duration helps. So here you get, if you had 3 Enduring Cry, or endurance charges, you'd end up getting, just at base, about 2 seconds of physical immunity. Just a hair shy of that. But then suddenly with this, you're actually looking at more than 3 seconds of physical immunity. And then, of course, when that turns off and trips again another couple seconds later, if you're taking a lot of physical damage, that can really help. Quite a lot, I have found. On some of my characters, I don't believe I do it on this one, but on some of my characters I actually have 2 of those stacked at slightly different damage levels. Usually one that casts in the 400 to 500 damage range, and then one that casts around 700 damage. Oh, stairs, okay. So this is the stairs leading up to Atziri. Here we go. This is going to be her. And I'm not carrying any stuff that I don't need to. It's not a huge deal. You could always dump it in there, but I just like to make sure I'm not wasting any space. And here goes. Well, that was early for her to do this. Now what I find with these, this is where she recharges her health with all these minions. The ones that get to her blow up and recharge her. The ones that don't get to her don't, obviously. So with this build, I pretty much just stand in front of one group that's heading toward her, and I'm able to kill most of the ones that come from that direction. That's kind of the idea. I've seen builds that use Atziri Totem.
Obeys.
That was very bad there for a moment. I've seen ones that use Searing Totem in there, with the goal being to pop that on the other side, so that as she is...
Queen of one and all.
Okay, so this is the next phase. She splits into 4 parts, and you have to kill just one of the 4. But I am in bad shape here because I am already out of charges on all my stuff, so I am being very evasive, as you can see. I usually just go for killing this one. I don't know if there's a particular reason I've selected that in my head. It just happens to be what I usually do. And... oh, ow. Probably looking at biting it pretty soon. You know, I'm just gonna... there we go. Okay, made it. Now she goes back to this phase. And she does that, my understanding is she does that every... oh, and I'm dead. Okay. Kind of figured that was going to happen, but that's okay. Get everything back up here. Okay, so now we've got her almost halfway down. Try to stand in front of... wow, she's casting a lot of them this time. Try to get in front of as many as I can here. Doesn't seem to be working terribly well. She's getting a lot of... it's coming in. Usually, they only come from 2 directions and you're able to take a lot more out than that. If they only come from 2 directions, you can pretty much deny her half of the minions, but if she summons them from 3 or 4 directions, it can be a lot worse. Okay. Oh.
By sanctity! Queen of one and all.
Okay, so we hit 50. She does the split at every 25%, and she doesn't repeat it if she heals up past that 25%. So... goodness gracious. That did not work out well. I'm having more and more trouble against her. I wonder if the way I've sort of changed my gear around since the first couple times I fought her is not serving me very well, perhaps. Good grief. Oh no. Ouch, that hurts. Even with all my fire resist, that still hurts a lot.
Bow to your queen, mortal!
Okay, how many directions are they going to come from? I think I can probably block most everything that comes on these 2 sides if I put myself in the right spot. So yes, Searing Totem. If you inspect for it and have a good high level one, I've seen people put it on the opposite side from where they're at and kill a lot higher percent
the sky obeys.
of guys.
Ascend through the flames!
I'm just going to try and burn her down to that next. There we go, okay. And we're probably going to bite it again here, because I now have no... oh, ow, yeah, that's not going well. So many things being cast by all the different versions of her. It's really hard to avoid them all, but we've still got 2 shots at this. I think we can do it. Crossing my fingers. Okay, there we go. God. Oh, jeepers. Good grief. There we go. Got her. Ah, and only an amethyst flask. I already have that one. Darn it. I'm really going for Doriani's, I believe it's Doriani's not Invitation, that's the belt. Cataclysm. Doriani's Cataclysm. Catalyst is the one I'm really looking for. This isn't bad, mind you, but it seems like a lot of people already have plenty of these. I've got one, picked up another one from a friend, and yeah, you just don't really need more than I think one per character at the best. So anyhow, that was an attempt at defeating Atziri that was successful. If you don't mind considering, what, 5 deaths successful? 4 on her and 1 earlier on the triple boss. I'll try again once I can get another sacrifice at midnight. And I will probably stream it and record it as well. Good night, all.